must guide it out for me. Vampires fall victim to my alchemy. I can smell the fears, they surrounded me, hounding me. How could he be born at the balcony? Be warned of the casualties through these bars from my faculty. They're wrong if you doubted me. This is God speaking, meanwhile God speaking.
We're here today in Panchavella's gallery with Dallas recording artist and hip-hop future, Rakim Al-Jabbaar. Rakim the guy, what's up, man?
Peace, what's up with you?
Everything. I really appreciate you coming through and sitting down and talking with us.
Appreciate you having me.
Out of appreciation for you coming, man, I brought these books as a gift to you.
Word.
I was kind of going through my library, bro, and I wanted to bring you something from the library. Bro. So these are two, man, and the reason, one of these is Radiant Mind. It's more of a collection of different authors, but it's about the teachings of the Buddha and the essential kind of philosophies of the Buddha. But this other book, Carlos Castellanos, is a little bit more contemporary, and I thought both of these would do well in your hands. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. I'm gonna put this knowledge to use. You already know that.
Already. I grew up just living, you know, just thriving on conversations about, you know, music, meaning, purpose, and you know, everything that you can dig into there. It's you know, it's music like yours, man, that really that invites these types of conversations, right?
Yeah.
Your newest album is Firebird?
EP, but yeah.
Which is different because your previous album, No Pen Theory, it was like 18 tracks?
14.
14, okay, okay. So, and you just dropped that a year prior to having dropped this Firebird, correct?
Yeah, March 9th, 2017.
Okay.
The day Biggie died.
Oh, right, March 9th. So
I got the same birthday as Biggie. That's why I dropped it on the day he died.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Wow, and I guess that probably stood out to you from that day forward, I guess.
I had my first asthma attack as a kid the day he died.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And how old were you at the time?
8.
Oh, okay, right. You haven't totally formulated your idea stance at that
Right.
point, your b-boy stance. Yeah. You know, I want to take the opportunity to really just talk about, you know, first, you know, talk about you as an artist, kind of where you come from and what you're trying to do. You know, you're a newcomer, but you're the way you're approaching this situation is like you're a veteran, man.
Yeah.
What is that about, man? Why does it feel like this is your 10th album?
I mean, for one, you know, I'm the son of a local legend, Big Al from Nemesis, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace. So, when you the son of a legend, you know that you have a legacy to carry on. The standard is automatically higher, right? And then, my name is Rakim Al-Jabbaar, like, that's my real name. So you can't be named Rakim and say you're gonna keep your name and come out the house and not be ready, like, at all times for anybody. So I always knew that I had to approach the game differently than any other new artist because the standards are automatically higher.
Right. Yeah. And do you feel the weight of those expectations and that pressure? Never have? No. And so, what part of that has been a struggle for you, man? I mean, I know I'm certain it hasn't been just an open boulevard of green lights. What is it? What is it that's...
The struggle was being honest about myself, about the quality of my music up to the point where I knew I was ready to release No Pen Theory. Because before then, I was going to release No Pen Theory December 21st, 2012. But I had to be honest with myself and say, you're not ready. No matter how good you think you are, you're really not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? So I had to put myself through my own artist development.
Wow.
And by the time 2016 comes around, I know I'm ready. It's not a question to me. You know what I'm saying? Of my ability or my skill set or what I bring to the table.
See, absolutely. So there's two ways, two directions to go with that. And one is that, I guess, is the obvious, is that I wish more people. That's a quality most musicians don't have, and it's hard to cultivate an objective look at your own work. So how did you, is that already there? Was there already this thought of trying to measure what you had done and you felt like you hadn't measured up? Or was it just like, I can do better? Or?
Yeah, I mean, because I was an extremely aware child. Like,
okay.
I was a child that would say, oh, he's been here before, right?
Yeah.
So I know that when I come outside in Dallas as a rapper, because my father is Big Al, I can walk through many doors that other artists can't off that name alone, right?
Right.
So I know that people is going to say, if I can't really rap, they're going to be like, He just got that off his dad's name. So I have to erase that. You know what I'm saying? Out the gate.
I see.
If you say that, I have to rap so good that you be like, come on. Even if Big Al wasn't his daddy, he still would have made it.
So okay. So what was your gauge when you're realizing when you're molding these tools within yourself and you're sharpening your swords and getting your craft together? What then was it that, or what is it you measure yourself against? Since you already got this high bar, how do you know?
No doubt. Riding dirty. Illmatic. That's it. Them three.
Okay, right. Say no more. And when you look at those and you look at what you have, and if you demand those types of expectations, then you at least know when you haven't reached it. I guess.
Yeah.
What do you feed your mind with, man? What is it that you take in to have the kind of output that you do?
I really, but I crammed for like years. You feel me? When it came to, when I found proof for the things that I thought as a child, when I was 19, I crammed from 19 to 23.
Interesting.
Put it like that.
So you had a situation when you were 19. Does that mark a turning point in your life, or?
Definitely, because I went to college, right?
Okay.
While in college, I had a situation with my immediate family that made me feel disconnected from them. Outside of them, the only thing that I would have is my father, right? And my father's not there, so that made me a certain type of person. It's really the darkest point of my life. It's the first time. That's the first time I encountered a negative spirit, right, in the flesh as a grown man, and having to deal with that. That's why I started having like real life spiritual experiences that I wouldn't even converse with too many people about, because it's nothing that you can't say that you can't tell me I was tripping, hallucinating, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I know what I live. You feel me?
Yeah. And sometimes your words will fail you in trying to.
And you can't explain. You wasn't there.
Right.
So I can't even. If you ain't never crossed over to that realm, you're not gonna understand anyway. So.
Right. That's the thing there, right? Yeah. Like when I said, break on through. It's it's color to a blind man. Otherwise, it's color to a blind man.
What it was the Loose Change documentary and
Okay.
Z Guys.
Very powerful film. It unravels the world for you.
Right.
You know, and gives you context.
And I think the most important thing it did for me was made me question everything. 'Cause I didn't believe it either, right? But you questioning everything, and so now I'm pulling all this information from everywhere. And that's the foundation for my spirituality.
So you said the foundation to your spirituality, and that's the questioning everything.
Right. Yeah.
That's calling everything into question, and which I guess in a sense, when we get down to it, that's being your own authority.
Exactly.
Let's get right into the album, man. Look, first of all, No Pen Theory is a entirely different album. It's just so much different.
Yeah.
What does that account for? It was just a year later that you made it. So what did it account for that sonic transformation?
Well, when I made No Pen Theory, for the people who already knew me, I already knew they was thinking it's like he can rap his ass off, but he can't make a song, right? So No Pen Theory is, I'm gonna show you I'm the most versatile artist out here. I'm gonna prove it out the gate. We're gonna dead that out the gate.
Gotcha.
My next project, I knew it was gonna be hardcore hip hop, because that's what I wanted to do. Like, sometimes I just want to rap and get shit off my chest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Firebird is. Firebird stems from a dream I had before the first time I talked to DJ Minutes and he told me he wanted to work with me. Shortly after that, I had a dream. I went to his house. I made a project that was hardcore hip hop. We went to a venue. I performed the music. The next time I came back to that same venue, it was too crowded for me. I couldn't get to the stage. So I flew to the stage with a phoenix and an elephant, right?
Wow.
That's how you get that artwork.
Yeah.
And then it was just like I was gone from there.
I saw that. I knew there was something deep to it. That's why it came from a dream.
I don't give most people is being that Ganesh, you know, Ganesh is a large part of me.
Really? Yeah. Now that's interesting because Ganesh is the patron saint of clearing goals or accomplishments or overcoming things, right?
And Al-Jabbaar is the same thing.
Really?
Same meaning.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
I mean, it's the, you know, Allah has, what, 99 names or whatever? Okay.
99 plus 1.
Right. Al-Jabbaar is the compeller, he's the tyrant, he brings about change.
Wow. I never knew that, man. How cool.
And it's not a name that's supposed to be given to a man.
Wow, so here we are.
Right.
Rakim the God.
Right.
It all comes together. And see, the thing is, the elephant is the mystical guidance. You know, it's the elephant in the mystical realm that guides us through the forest and clears the path, creates the path.
Guided me through the crowd to the stage.
Yeah, man, that's so deep, bro. That's what's up. So let me ask you, man, like all the spiritual stuff that you got, all these Easter eggs, man. That's what I really encourage people to check this album out because of the Easter eggs, the opportunity to really dig in and go on a journey, go on a spiritual scavenger hunt. Yeah. You know, and then especially come check out the interview because then you get the insight to it.
Right.
You know, it puts you back on. It recreates the song for you. Now I'm gonna go back and listen and see this stuff in a whole new way. So talk to me. So that's Firebird. That's where you got the name.
Yeah. Well, no.
I'm sorry.
They was telling me I need to put out an EP, right?
Who is they? Let's talk about they real quick.
Menace.
Okay.
Who else? Everybody on my team.
Yeah.
Because I had to join with Static in the Tub. We had that song. We knew when we were releasing it. And so even Mousequake, they're like, you need to put out a project around this song. I didn't want to. In my mind, I'm working on an album called The Legend of the Purple Phoenix, right?
Okay.
They want me to put out a project now, and I know it's not going to be that album. So after they convinced me to consider it, I'm in the car, and I'm daydreaming. And I'm like, okay, if I put a project out right now, what songs do I have? I go through the list of songs. I make the order. And I'm like, all right, this could work, but what the fuck would I call it? Like, I don't know. And I come out the daydream, right? It's a fucking Firebird sitting in the car in front of me at the red light. A Firebird and a Phoenix is the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't see that car too often. And then I thought, there was 8 songs, there's 8 letters in Firebird, the word, you know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So it put itself together like that, and that, I don't ignore signs, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta follow signs.
I seen that,
I
was like, okay, this is what we're rolling with. Yeah. So that's how it came about.
Gotcha, because when it appears, when it reveals itself, there it is.
Yeah.
My brother used to always tell me you can go as fast as you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you just gotta read all the signs.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So right on. So let's go right into the first track, man. African Firebird. African Bird Pepper. Where did you come up with that arrangement?
That name?
Yeah. What is that?
That's cayenne pepper.
That's what
the actual name for cayenne pepper.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
And so it's red.
Gotcha.
Right? Your root chakra. How do you overcome your root chakra? You have to face and conquer your greatest fear. Right?
Okay.
So the song, boom, I'm looking in the mirror, off top.
Yes.
What is my greatest fear? How many times have I tried and failed?
Yes.
I got war in the mirror trying to find myself. If I get off my ass, maybe I'll prevail. I'm talking to myself and asking myself the question, how can I conquer these lower realms of myself? You feel what I'm saying? And really, in actuality, that's what this album is about. If you look at the cover, right?
Yeah.
The letters go through the chakra system. It's the rainbow.
Okay.
So the first 3, the African Bird Pepper is about me conquering my greatest fears and once again being honest about myself, about where I'm at in my life, what I need to let go of, what I need to focus on to get to where I'm going.
Wow, because now I'm thinking about what you say, and there's like a number of songs, and I kept pointing this out. There's some of these songs, man, that are just like drudging through mud. Yeah. They're so thick, they're so heavy. And some of them are really, I mean, a couple of them like Prism, Yellow Prisms, right? as much as I love the song, there's this dark side to that song. There's like an evil thing to it. And so what you're saying is that a lot of this is dealing with those lower primordial chakras, where you're dealing with the flesh and the.
Right. All of this is self. Even when you get to, so you go from red African bird pepper, you go to vultures, right, which is orange, right.
Another one that creeps along that kind of dark.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
Because it's the darkest part of myself that I acquired from participating with people in street culture, right?
Okay.
And so to me, in street culture, you have two types of people. You have a hustler and you have the vultures. The majority of the people in the streets are vultures, and they live off the hustlers and the people who not even in the streets. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay.
And understanding the vulture's mind frame, I had to understand the vulture's mind frame to understand what parts of it became part of me in order for me to let those parts of me go.
Wow.
So I had to grow from it, you know what I'm saying? So, but I had to analyze the entire situation, and so I'm telling you a true story about the most vicious vulture that I encountered in my journey.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? All that shit is real. That whole album is internal. You know what I'm saying? It was a therapeutic situation for me, and I did it the whole thing before I realized what I did.
Ah, wow. The inner wisdom, you know what I mean? There's always that, you know, in psychology, Freud and Jung, they talk about this. There's two parts, there's two hemispheres to your thinking that don't connect.
Right.
Most of the time, it's like two people living in the same house who don't know the other one exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's this freaky thing. Processed it later and went back and realized what you had done. You realized that this is kind of your spirit at work, I guess, your mind working.
Definitely. It was a self-transformation. It was the last year of my life prepared me for what's to come. You feel me? I had to digest what I actually learned in the streets in order to be able to move through the music industry the way I need to. But it's worse than the street. You feel me? More vultures in the music industry than you do in the street. But learning from what I learned from vultures, now music industry vulture, they're not a problem for me.
Wow.
Because I know what I'm looking at, I know what I'm dealing with, I know how you think, how you operate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In the powerful myth, the hero always defeats the monster, the enemy, and there's always some token, something that goes with them, whether that's part of their strength or part of their equipment.
Right.
Dark mango kango, his chain glow reflects the third color of the rainbow, and that's just like the middle of it. Like what comes first though? Is it one word, the whole thing?
That song, I was like, when I heard the beat, I was like, damn, it sounds like some Wu-Tang shit, right? I'm like, damn, they used to say some fly shit in an ignorant ass way, right? So I'm like, damn, they used to play with the colors. Man, I got on these, some macaroni colored wallabies, right? I'm like, try to envision a spaghetti squash beamer drop top, right? Okay, and it's the third song. It's the yellow prism. Your third chakra, the sexuality and all of your lower selves exist in there, right?
Right.
So the yellow prism is the three lower worlds of self. You feel me? Where all of these things exist. And I have pimps in my family, in my bloodline, right? When you understand DNA, you know that these things get passed down through the DNA in actuality. And then with my experiences with this pimp, since he was a real pimp by the book, he disrespected all of the women in our family. So even though he's my uncle and I love him, I didn't like the nigga. You feel me? So
yeah,
I fantasize about killing pimps. Oh, Yellow Prism, I'm killing the pimp, but I'm killing off that world for myself though too at the same time.
Okay, so you're dealing with these inter energies,
right?
You know, oh man, and it comes out that way because when you listen to that, man, it's you know. That's what I noticed about you on this album, to be honest with you, man. I going back, I see it's been there, but like you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
You are. And at times though you tell no stories. Sometimes you're just rapping or whatever.
Fact, definitely.
Yeah. So like do you know when the rhyme comes, it's like I'm gonna weave this into a story or like I'm just gonna go for I know. It's all architected. So then we have songs like Mojo and Super Tight and Grapefruit, but to me feel like a lighter side.
Yeah.
And you do a great job of weaving these in and out, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a nice texture.
Right.
You take left and right, so.
And it's mainly the same producers too, that's the thing.
So that was, and that was okay. So I should have asked this in the beginning, but we'll just ask you now. How did you approach this production-wise?
I got it all from Menace.
Menace did this whole album?
No. But if he didn't do it, his friend Analog, Analog did Vultures, Old Met King, and Super Tight. Menace did African Bird Pepper, Yellow Prism, Moja, and Grapefruit. And then Static Selector did The Antidote.
I didn't realize that. So that's why that's why it sounds the way it sounds. So Menace, I'm a big fan of. I just really got onto Menace a few years ago. Yeah. Him coming into the DFW. What is it like to work with Menace, man? How does that relate? How did that relationship form, and like how does it persist?
Shit, sent him some shit. He liked it.
But how did you catch wind of who DJ Menace was?
When I said we was gonna put out No Pin Theory, we was looking for a radio DJ to host it. And so he was a radio DJ. We reached out to him. He only listened to the music because my name was Rakim. That's what he told me. So he was like, "It's some bullshit. This motherfucker gonna be whack." You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason he played it, to hate.
Everything's in the name.
Yeah. And so eventually we got around to working, and as soon as we sat down to work the first time, it clicked.
You knew what was going on right away. That's crazy. So again, your name is pulling you through this.
Yeah, definitely.
How else do you guys collaborate besides just sharing rhymes and beats?
Well, with everybody I collaborate, it helps me more on structure, you know what I'm saying, and maybe the type of beats that I rhyme on. As far as content, it's not.
What do you like the most about DJ Menace's, about his soundscape?
He said hardcore hip-hop, boom bap, all day. And I believe that he's the best DJ I've ever seen as far as song selection. And then that tells me that his ear is incredible. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to them sounds, he knows what will move a crowd. Put it like that. Yeah.
You guys sound great together on an album, but like just the authenticity of his perspective of his how steeped he is, and he's like dripping wet with it.
Facts.
Yeah. So we expecting to get a lot of production out of Menace for the next for future projects and stuff, I assume.
I mean, we always work. The next project is really almost done. He only got one on there.
Wow. But he's still in the studio with you. He's still over the shoulder and all that. Huh?
That's family.
In addition to having having that from your production team, and you kind of come up with all the concepts and stuff, what else does it take to make? What else does it take to make a Rakim album?
Good weed. That's about it.
Yeah. Because you think you're not sick.
I swear, I seen a Biggie interview. It's always spooky because we born the same day. We both got asthma. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they asked him something, and he was like, "Shit, I don't know. That was the weed. Like, sometimes I smoke a blunt, write the whole song, record it, listen to it, and be like, what the fuck?" You know? But I think sometimes as MCs though, or even creators period, right?
Yeah.
We channel energies or spirits or whatever you want to say. Sometimes we're open and this creativity, it flows through us. We really just a channel for it. It's not really my creation.
Become a vessel, a vehicle.
I might have, I tell people a lot of times when I'm rhyming, I'm interpreting the beat. I'm telling you what the beat told me. That's all I'm doing.
Wow, that's deep.
You know what I'm saying? It's not really of my creation all the time. Because a lot of times I don't think, and I just react. And the whole song comes, it'll be one take. That's another thing. The majority of this EP are one take. When I say one take, I mean the first take and the whole fucking song.
So you didn't spend that many days in the theater.
The music was already there. In my mind, I'm working on an album.
Yes.
When I'm working on an album, typically I might make 20 songs and then condense it from there. So I'm just recording. I know I want to make an album about to pass through the chakras and shit. So I know the type of songs I have to make and where they have to line up at. But
when you go through the chakras, makes me wonder. I go back and I remember like the cover of the No Pin Theory was the two snakes, but I always thought that was a Medusa reference. But is that a Kundalini reference?
Now, what did you say before that? You said Medusa?
Yeah.
Okay. The Medusa head with the snakes is a truly symbolization of a trapped Kundalini energy that needs to be released. So the No Pin Theory, that's what that cover is hinting to. That's why it is the two snakes and the fire. And the intro is the Kundalini genie.
So let's go into some of these cuts real quick, man. Because what I really want to do is I want to get to the antidote and I want to get to grapefruit.
Okay.
I feel like feel like those two.
All the heads love grapefruit. That shit crazy.
Yes. Let's talk about the anecdote, man. You got a beat from Static Selector. Right. So before we really get anywhere and say anything, like what the, you know what I mean? Like wow.
Right.
Like yo.
Yeah.
Like yo.
Shit.
Whoa. Static Selector, and he gave you a real one.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was that like? How did you know that was just gonna happen? Who told you like, hey, you're gonna get Minutes set it up? He says, how did that unfold, man?
I think they had some. I think he knew that Static was going to start taking his label serious and be looking for artists to work with and shit. So he wanted to begin that relationship, you know, create that introduction.
Wow.
What better way to be like, you know, let us get one of them beats and show you what we can do.
Wow. So, did you get it by email? Did it,
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind when you hit play?
I had options.
Wow. Oh God.
I sat with him and picked
What's
which
that
one.
like? So man, was that like literally a kid in the candy shop or what?
Definitely.
How many did you get to sit through and listen to?
5.
Wow. And did you want everyone, or did you know immediately like this is it?
I didn't know. I had to pray.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah, know it. Know it.
You gotta ask the ancestors to make that type of decision for you.
You know what I mean? That's so real, bro. That's so real because, most people praying just to get the option, but you know what I'm saying? But that's, you know, that lets me know how what's at stake when you pick a song, right? So did you approach any differently, knowing that, you know, like that this is Static? Obviously, you got to come to his level, and
I did what I do to contact my father, and I said, look here, I need one of the best versions I done ever wrote.
Wow.
Right now. Send it to me. And that's what the fuck came out.
What has he heard? Have you gotten a response from his camp yet? Or
he mixed it live on Instagram as soon as he got it. Like,
that was
when I say as soon as he got it, I sent it to Minutes. Minutes told me he sent it to him. I was going to see my godson out here from Duncanville.
Okay.
I'm on 635, and Minutes texts me and he said he gonna mix it live on Instagram. And then the next message, before I could reply back, he said, oh shit, he on live now.
Oh shit, right.
So
wow.
As soon as he got it, he pulled his phone up, ran, pulled it up, and mixed it, put the scratches on there live on Instagram.
History.
Yeah.
History is made, man. Wow. Well, congratulations. Like I say, the video is dope. If you haven't seen the video, check out the video. The video is like super dope. It's you know, you get to take your homage to New York, to the sacred hallowed ground of Sedgwick Avenue. Talk to me a little about that. Was that your first time in New York?
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow. You're so Texan, but you don't want to know that.
Right.
Your first time in New York, and what was that like as coming from the South?
It was a life-changing experience, bro. You know what I'm saying? It made me want to stay for one. I didn't want to come home.
Really? You was ready? Okay. You was feeling the spirit out there, wasn't you?
That's me. It's too much of me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
I'm a hip-hop baby for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I fell in love with the climate. And, you know, getting the opportunity to go on Shade 45.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was there in New York while you were in New York?
Yes,
that was all the same trip? Wow, man.
I was mad nervous. Mad
as anyone should be.
Right.
But like you play, I mean, from the video, it was cool, calm, and collective, but...
Well, because I be telling everybody it's funny shit to me. If you look extremely close, you can see my hoodoo bag in my left hand. You can see the strings from my hoodoo bag hanging in my left hand. That's how nervous I was.
What did you say? What did you call it? Your what bag?
Hoodoo.
Hoodoo. Talk to me about that, man.
I mean, what you want to know?
That's a new word for me, man. That's a new word.
Okay, hoodoo is the... Hoodoo and voodoo is the same thing. Put it like that.
So yeah, and I you know, the cover of the album.
Yeah.
It's got the candles and the pentagram.
Yeah. And there's each element of hip hop at each point at that pentagram. And that's in the video for the antidote.
So are you like, I mean, are you pulling this all from one place, or are you just like putting all this into one pot and mixing it and making your own ideological philosophy? Or you
Definitely.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say the strongest influences on that are? What are the origins?
Well, I would say all magical practices, right? Even if it's Wicca, voodoo, whatever. Only because when you truly study that, not the surface level goofy shit, right?
Okay.
It's all about your willpower.
Okay.
That you can will anything into existence with your focus. So as a true magician, I don't need any tools. I don't need a crystal.
Okay.
I don't need a candle. You feel me? I don't need a pumpkin. The only thing I need is the power of my mind. And whatever I focus on and place my intent into, I can pull that from my mind into my reality.
Wow. And is this something that's always been available to you, or is it something that you're refining every day? Or
when I was a kid, I knew I had a superpower that I didn't know how to use. And that was it, willpower. So I would say it's always been there, but studying taught me how to access it.
Okay.
I learned that there's a power in my voice. Everything can be manipulated through sound.
It always goes back to the sound. And when we talk about, even in the book, even the Christian vernacular, you talk about the word. In the beginning, it was just the word and through sound.
It's experience that we experience is what's created through sound. Just like you just said, they say in the beginning was the word.
Right,
meaning the word was used to form the matter.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what in the East they talk about the Om. They talk about this primordial sound, like the energy, the sound of the energy of creation. Right?
Right.
And so all this is in your mind going around when you're writing raps.
Yeah.
That's
just
why
like I learned that there's a power in my voice. Like when they say people have rap voices, right? I know that with a focused intention, with my voice, I can control the room no matter what I'm saying. Right? So then that makes it easier for me when I go out on stage because, for one, my voice is going to get you. I know it is. I'm going to use it to get you. When I match this content with these technical lyrical skills and put all of this together, then that's how I become a God level MC with the rich level.
Mind manipulates matter.
Sublime.
How
Every time.
So that leaves only one other track on the album, man, and that's the I won't say it stand out above the rest, but in terms of phonically, it's different than all the other ones. And you got to work with Flower Child, Super Tight, which you dropped first before all the other ones, right? That was the first single. Yeah. And man, it's got this futuristic sound with this old soul. How did you do that?
That beat did that to me.
That's the beat, right? Always in sound.
The first time Minutes played me that beat, that hook came instantly.
It was right there for you. Jumped right out of the.
Instantly. That one wasn't hard at all.
Was that the first song that was recorded on that album?
Nah, I think I recorded African Bird Pepper first.
The intro, because you're talking about going in order and stuff also, huh? Flower Child being on the album, you guys are partners in. Now it's DTX, right? Or DTX.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about a little bit about what it's like to work with those. It was like two amazing artists, you know what I mean? And you guys.
I mean, that shit is fun, you know what I'm saying? But it's like being a kid, you know?
Yeah.
You just try shit together, you vibe together. Just having fun, bro. Like how music is supposed to be. That's how I feel like working with other artists, period. Like it's really way easier than making my own music because I'm a businessman as well. I'm the CEO of my own label, so I have to approach my personal music from a different business standpoint than I do when I'm collaborating with other people. Then I can relax and just have fun. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Taking on a different role that way.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up, man. And so, what? Are you guys? Are you guys recording? You guys putting a lot of music together?
We're working on the mixtape right now.
Okay.
There's a lot of Dallas artists on there, though.
Okay, you guys throw on.
A whole lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about to me, just unifying and showing the rest of the world that not only can we come together, but we can compete with any artist on any level that you bring across the table.
That's DTX.
Right, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Is there anything specific to the album that, because I want people who have not listened to your album, hopefully to watch this and then want to go listen to the album. But I want people who've already heard it to go back, listen again, right? Yeah. So what is it that we maybe haven't discussed that's a key element? You know, we talked about the journey through the chakras, right? And then how a lot of those songs are, you dealing with those elements, right? Yeah. So what other elements are in there that we should take into consideration when listening to it that you've woven into the fabric of the music?
Self-empowerment. I believe a lot of people fail because the thing that they have the most faith in is outside of themselves, right? Because the average person is going to be religious. He's going to have some religious figure. You're going to place all of your faith into that. Right?
Transcendental identifier.
I believe in myself the same way the average Christian believes in Jesus.
It is explained for the response you're getting. Congratulations again, Firebird is dope.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I mean? Like it's a really great album. And I don't know, maybe this is an EP. You can listen to it under an hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? It does leave you wanting more. Yeah. Are we gonna get more in the same direction, or are you taking it somewhere completely
different?
Okay.
Not even. It don't even sound like no pen theory.
That's what's up, man. And so this being your second album in 2 years, do we expect one on that kind of pace, or are you gonna?
I'm very spiritual, you know, so.
You follow the signs.
Yeah. You know,
already.
The ancestors guide me. I just go with it. You feel me? I do what I'm supposed to do.
You know, before we just close everything out, what is it that maybe people are missing about Firebird, about Rakim Al-Jabbaar, about your music, about what you're out here doing it for?
It's a few things. That's what I'm going to say like this. For one, a lot of people, they encounter me and I'm extremely humble. So they assume that I don't know how good I am. Don't ever get that shit fucked up, because that's going to make you play yourself and I'm going to fuck you up every time. Okay. Secondly, I believe I take this shit more serious than everybody else. Especially when you talk about the type of content that I put into my music, the topics that I'm tackling and addressing. You know what I'm saying? The stories that I'm telling while keeping the technical skill at the same time. Like, I don't feel like nobody's doing what I'm doing. And I'm not saying in Dallas, I'm saying I don't feel like nobody is doing what I'm doing. You feel what I'm saying?
Already.
And thirdly, that, you know, I feel like Dallas is the new Mecca of hip hop. I feel like that's our role in this game. And I feel like as long as everybody stays focused, stays true to themselves and in their own lane, we're gonna become that and be viewed that by the rest of the world.
So you really are championing the cause for the local scene.
I told my sister over 5 years ago that Dallas was the new New York.
Wow.
There's multiple Dallas rappers who have been said they was gonna move somewhere or would move somewhere else, and before they did, I told them, "You stupid. Why would you go there when everything is moving here?" But then again, everybody's not completely in tune with the universe, so they can't see.
Cannot see it. I mean, what is it? What is it that you saw? What was the indications?
I started studying hip hop more and realized I know how energy works, right? The neighborhood I'm from, I was calling it the Boogie Down before I knew that hip hop started in the Boogie Down Bronx, right? Okay.
You just downloaded that. All right.
That's not a coincidence. You can't convince me that it is.
First, you got to convince me that coincidences are a thing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Then I look at the other aspects of the culture, how we had the dance movement. Yeah. That ain't nothing but b-boying, okay? Okay. You might not like it, but it's today's version.
Say that. No, because we all like b-boy. Why don't we like the
right, that's b-boying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean. The Dallas scene was boogieing long before we had a name for it. The same way they was b-boying long before they had a name for it. Right. It's just this hip-hop is a spirit. Yes. Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Look, this city was overcome with this spirit in the towards the end 2008, between 2008 and 2010. And this spirit began to take over our city. That's why now we have the best artists in the world, right? Because every aspect of the hip hop culture is prevalent here.
Man. So you're saying Dallas is a new nest for the hip hop spirit?
Facts. And the rest of the world know that. We gotta know it just like the rest of the world is knowing it. Or otherwise they can come here and take advantage of what we created.
Before you get out of here, I just want you to talk about why you're so excited for this Final Friday. What's got your spirit so high?
I'm performing the whole Firebird EP live. I know a lot of people haven't heard the music because I'm not putting it online ever. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not ever going online. September 28th, there'll be 80 CDs available. Each one of them will be personally autographed when they purchase. They're $22 a piece. The first 22 come with a limited edition Firebird t-shirt that will never be sold again. Well, it's never going to be sold anyway, but it would never be available again. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And now I got a special I got a surprise for my performance that I'm not revealing, but y'all will see that night.
How will we know when we can purchase the album? When will that first 22 become available? When do we know we gotta get it?
Pre-order will be up this week.
Okay, so just stay tuned.
Yeah.
If you're not following Rakim on his social media, how do we do that?
Rakim Al-Jabbaar on everything. It's RAKIMALJABBAAR.
All right.
Rewind the video, play it slow, you'll catch that shit.
Already. Well, once again, man, thank you for coming out, bro. Anything else you want to add to the conversation, man?
Rule number 1, never test my rap skill because I will fuck you up and I don't care who you is.
That is point blank period. Who can say anything after that?
All
right, peace to the guys, man.
Must got it out for me. Vampires fall victim to my alchemy. I can smell the fears they surrounding me, hounding me. How could he be born at the balcony? Be warned of the casualties to response from a faculty. They're wrong if you doubted me. This is God speaking. Meanwhile, God speaking. Diamond dangling from your forehead, got y'all reaching. Y'all reachers for still believing in false teachers. Just bogus cause we know that Rock told you through your speakers about the triple black darkness. Now as the seeds come to harvest, word to Garvey, I'm the hardest. The power that I harness make the child bow before us.